Welcome back to Lock 22 Sports Daily. We told you there wasn't going to be a show today, and there's not a regular show because there's no clock, there's no nothing. This is called Overtime. This is a segment we're going to do every once in a while. We were recording this Saturday night after game two of the World Series. It is about 10:45 local here in, well, I'm in South Dakota, but it's also 10:45 in Minnesota.
No,
So
you're
there you
in
go.
Minneapolis.
That's just because that's where all my sports teams are. It's a gimmick, like everything else. Anyway, Damon, we wanted to do this because there's a whole bunch that happened today that we wanted to talk about. Overall, was not a great sports day, but it could have been better. It was good, could have been better.
Dude, it was a weird sports day. I don't know that it was a okay. First of all, any day that there's sports is a good day. So let's just focus on that for a second. Our teams may not always perform, but look at the cities that we're hosting here. Aren't we used to this by now?
I
For
mean,
real.
both of our baseball franchises are cursed. Like,
I mean, I don't even feel like we're cursed. I know exactly what's going on with my baseball team and what the problem is. I know exactly what it is. It's fickle
well,
ownership.
well, that's our problem in Minnesota too. But guess what? Our owners are selling for whatever
Well,
that means.
I wish upon all wishes that our owners would sell the team because we are Seattle Mariners. You can look this up. This is not even a joke. The most profitable team in baseball. That doesn't mean that they make the most money, but they are the most profitable team in baseball. And the fact that ownership won't pony up some of that money to go out there and be able to compete with some of these other teams, which I know is your number one rant, but I think it's hilarious. We're all totally homegrown, and the only thing that we need to push us over is like a Juan Soto, maybe.
Like one big name. One.
Yeah,
Not even not you don't need Judge Soto, fucking Otani.
just give me
You
one.
don't need
Give me one.
and preferably not Robinson Cano. Preferably not.
Oh, that was before the current regime. Yeah, that was. I don't know. It worked out. I mean, it worked out. It was fine. He was
Except
good
for when he
for
got
us. He was
suspended.
really good for us.
Except for when he got suspended, then it
Well,
didn't work as
when
well.
he got suspended, we did a magic act with the Mets and got him out of here. That was amazing. I don't know how he pulled that off. But anyway, good sports
But
day. Let's talk college football.
well, college football today was actually started last night. The good is when the good games started because we had Boise State and UNLV. Boise State goes into Las Vegas and wins. UNLV continues their losing streak against ranked teams. And this game was incredible. I mean, huh?
Tell me about it, because I didn't
Well,
watch it.
the storyline going in was Ashton Genty, can he keep being an absolute monster? The answer was definitively, yes, he can.
Keep your
33
mouth on your
carry.
mic. I can't hear you.
The answer was definitively yes. 33 carries, 128 yards, and a touchdown. No, that has not been Genty's normal this year. He's been averaging almost 200 yards a game, but it's still really darn good, and it was good enough to win the game. Uh, Maddox Madsen, who's not a very good quarterback for Boise State, but he was fine last night. Didn't make any huge mistakes, and Boise held on to win 29-24. And then, Damon, the main college football thing I wanted to talk about with you tonight was Indiana won again without their starting quarterback.
This is predictable. Um, Washington's not good.
But we didn't know how Indiana was going to be without their quarterback either.
We kind of saw a little bit of that because he went out during the Nebraska game and they still kept pulling ahead. And that's no small feat considering what Nebraska was able to do at Ohio State today.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, guys, this Nebraska team got blown out by Indiana, 56-7. And then Nebraska goes into Ohio State. And so now what I'm telling you, Ben, is I'm putting Ohio State on upset watch when they play Indiana. I
I
said
think
the
that's
other day
reasonable.
that I didn't think they were going to win. I still don't think they'll be favored going into that game, but it's on all the cards are on the table right now. If Nebraska
Ohio State did
can
not.
almost pull it off, Indiana is going to beat them.
Ohio State did not look like themselves today. That
No, they
is.
did not.
I wonder if it was some of the coming off a really tough loss in Oregon hangover for part of that game, but I mean that was 2 weeks ago now. You know, I don't know. I don't think that Ohio State team is as good as everybody else thinks it is. I don't think Ryan Day's a very good head coach either. But
I mean, that's up for debate, I suppose, but another day. They're
how many
certainly going to be they're certainly going to be in the playoff, and we'll have to see what happens then, what kind of medal they have.
if Indiana and Ohio State play each other in the Big Ten title game, which is certainly possible, it could also be Ohio State and Oregon. It could also be Indiana and Oregon. It could be Penn State and Oregon. There's a mess in the Big Ten right now of undefeated teams, and this is what happens when we got rid of divisions, right? This is what happened. We got this mess of teams that are undefeated in conference play.
It's a good
Now,
mess.
it's a good mess to have, but do you think Oregon's going to lose a game the rest of the way? Probably not. So they're probably in there,
They
right?
look really good. They look really
Huh?
good. They just
They,
put it on Illinois, dude, from the beginning.
yeah. And that was a game people thought Illinois could at least hang around in, and they didn't. And now Indiana, I believe they play Purdue next week. They're going to put it on Purdue. I don't care who their quarterback is. That that Purdue team is bad.
They're
So,
historically bad. Boy,
speaking of speaking of bad, the Gophers actually won a game today in college football. Not like anybody cared. But they put 48 up on the Maryland Terrapins, who are also not very good.
how about uh how about Bama putting a statement on Mizzou?
Pretty much knocking Missouri out of any
I
potential.
mean, Missouri came in at 21, right? And Bama's like pissed that they're at 15 and just hammered them 34 nothing.
I,
And I mean,
Anybody that thought Bama wasn't going to win this game, like really, anybody that thought Bama wasn't going to win this game.
but I don't know how you could say that, Ben, after their two mishaps already this season.
Yeah, but both of those
They're
were on the road.
beatable. They're beatable.
On a neutral field, yes, but at home, I don't know about that.
It's
Away
fair.
from home, certainly. Away from home, definitely, and on a neutral field, who knows? But at home against a Missouri team that has looked much better than recent Missouri teams for sure, but not, they're not Bama, you know,
So who looks the best to you?
out of,
Texas barely held off Vanderbilt, by the way.
yeah, Texas barely. I mean, it's hard to say Georgia isn't the best team in the country right now, isn't it? Georgia or Oregon.
I just think Oregon. I until somebody shows me, I can't wait to see those two. The Georgia's gonna play Oregon at some point this season.
Probably in the national title game.
Um, and I'm here for it.
Is there okay? Is there a world where Indiana gets into the playoff and makes a little bit of noise? Maybe they win a game.
Yes, dude, they got 3 games left.
One of
One
them is Ohio State,
one's Ohio State, Michigan, and I think
who they'll
Michigan
beat.
State, and they should beat those two easily. So, I
If
mean,
they go 2-1 the rest of the way, which I think we can agree is the most likely scenario, yeah, they Indiana could certainly beat Ohio State, especially now with what we saw today. But we don't know if Curtis Rourke's going to be back for that game. That's another thing. We don't know what's going to happen with Curtis Rourke. He's out indefinitely, supposedly, according to Signetti, but that could just be him saying that. But if Rourke misses next week, it doesn't matter because they're playing Purdue and they'll beat Purdue. And if they don't beat Purdue, then this was all for naught anyway. And who knows what happens against Ohio State if Rourke's back in there? I think that line becomes, instead of -10, it probably goes down to -5.5.
Yeah, you're not wrong. There's a couple games I want to mention. Saw Kansas State barely take out Kansas. I saw Michigan uh barely take out Michigan State. And then you had Penn State, who everybody's all up in. I'm not going to say that they barely beat Wisconsin, but it wasn't that. It was like 28-13. Not that impressive.
Not what we expect from this Penn State team, certainly.
Right. Of
In a
course,
year where,
Ohio State's not what we expected out of Ohio State either. So,
I mean, Oregon is kind of what we expected Ohio State to be right now, right?
yeah, and I think Cincinnati, Colorado's playing right now. I think Colorado has a touchdown lead.
I'm looking. I don't see that game on my end, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay. Let's move on to some NBA stuff. Not too much to talk about here. The Wolves won today, which was maybe the highlight of my day. I'm not having a great day.
I'm already disappointed, man. Portland was up the entire game last night. Entire game. Just kind of dominated the first 3 quarters and 10 minutes. And then they blew it
Yep.
to lose by 2.
Welcome to your 2024 Portland Trailblazers experience, I think, unfortunately.
I mean, youngest team in the NBA for the second year in a row. Chauncey Billups, I like him as a coach, but I don't know that the players respect him. And that bothers me, worries me a little bit. I know Lillard was friends with him, but it didn't seem to matter. He's
Uh,
like, let himself get talked out of town.
yeah.
By the way, I I want to say this publicly. I blame Stephen A. Smith for Damian Lillard losing his loyalty to Portland. Because he just
That's
wouldn't
fair.
shut up about it. Damian
That's
Lillard's
fair.
like, I want to play here. I don't. They like me here. They pay me here. I'm a god here. And Stephen A. Smith was like, your legacy's gonna be dead if you never win a title. You need to go join one of these super teams, which Lillard was always against. And now he ends up going. And it's you know what? This is poetic justice because he was in a small market in Portland. And they're like, you need to go to a big market like LA, New York. And he ends up in a tiny, tiny market of Milwaukee. I
Which
hope
is smaller than Portland, if I'm
I
not
hope they never
mistaken.
win shit. Yeah. I love Lillard and I always will, but I hope they don't win shit.
The Wolves winning today was the only good thing that happened to me today. I want you to know that. That's the kind of day I'm having.
The only good thing,
Because,
the show happened to you today.
well, this hasn't fully happened yet. It's not over yet.
Okay. I don't even know what that means. Oh, because we
Uh,
have to talk about baseball.
yeah, because we have to talk about the stupid World Series. Anyway, let's talk hockey first. The game that's going on as we're doing this show
Shut up.
is Hurricane Hurricanes in Seattle playing the Kraken. This isn't going well, Damon.
God damn it. I need this game, Ben. You can't lose 3 in a row. This is bullshit. What is it? Oh, it's on a commercial right now. It's 2-0 when I saw in the second period. It's probably the third period now.
You want
Here's
to
the
talk about
problem. Dude, we can't look. We play stupid and we give these stupid penalties like high sticking It's like I hate this guy, so I'm gonna high stick him in the face, and then you get a 2 minute penalty, and then you get shorthanded, and you can't kill the power play. Especially when your number one kill guy is the guy committing the penalty to begin with. And I don't know, like putting too much pressure on Joey Decord. It's not cool, man. Not cool. And we can't lose these. We're losing these games by 1 goal.
And then you have my stupid team.
I hate your team so much.
Me too.
I
My
hate,
team
I
sucks.
hate, look, I'm just going to say it out. I hate the Minnesota Wild. I hate everything
Okay,
about them.
I'll give you my reasoning, but you tell me yours first.
They're stupid.
Yeah, that's fair.
They
That's
suck.
accurate.
They just lost to one of the worst teams in the NHL. Um,
And gave them.
dude,
Okay,
and they should be, look, hockey, like Minnesota is the land of hockey. If you can't play there and be good, get the fuck out. You
yeah,
suck.
what's the point?
I hate them.
So, so they're 5-3 with a combined record now, two overtime losses. This was their first regulation loss. They end up giving up what ended up being 7 goals. It was really 6 because the last one was an empty netter against Philadelphia, who absolutely sucks. And put
Absolutely
up,
sucks. They suck.
they're terrible. One of the worst teams in the league. And we can't, and the Flyers are getting booed out of their own building, and we can't even beat them.
Wild.
Welcome to the John Hines experience. Welcome to the John Hines experience. So this game starts, we go down 2-0 in the first 5 minutes, okay? It 5 minutes in and it's 2-0 against one of the worst teams in the league. And I'm sitting there with my head in my hands, as I think most any fan would. If the Kraken went down 2-0 immediately to the Flyers, what would you be doing?
I mean, I would turn it.
You
I
would
don't
change the
look.
channel,
I love hockey. Look, hockey just makes me mad. It's aggressive as it is, and if we go down that fast, I got to turn it because I'll get mad.
well, finally, by the end of the second period, in the last like 5 minutes of that period, we finally come back and tie the game. And what do we go and do? We go and give up a goal to put them ahead. And then we go on the power play and it's 3-3 to go into the third period. And then we take the lead. And I'm thinking, holy shit, are we actually going to win this game? No, because stupid penalties and bad coaching win the day again.
Oh, I just want to remind everybody, this is not a normal show. We don't have a script. We are just talking shit right now,
We don't
and
even have any notes.
there's no clock. There's no notes. I'm not doing a ton of editing on this. It's just gonna because we don't have a show on Monday. This is what you're gonna get.
Which is mostly just me yelling about
Well,
how
and to
much I
be
hate John
perfectly
Hines.
honest with you, I'd rather be sleeping right now. But here's the thing. If we don't cover at least these two World Series games tonight, we are not going to have enough time on Tuesday to get through everything we need because we have all the NFL schedule still coming up tomorrow. Holy shit. We needed to do this. So this will be Monday's show.
Yeah. Well,
Extra innings, overtime,
so
sudden death, whatever you want to call
so this stupid wild team cannot hold a lead to save their lives, apparently, which we already knew that because they've blown leads in just about every game, even the ones that they've won, with the exception of St. Louis, they've blown the lead. So who's surprised when they go into Philadelphia and take them lightly, as the Wild are prone and known to do, and they blow it again? Who's surprised?
it. Not me.
Sir, with one of the
You
five
know,
worst head
I
coaches in the
remember
league,
editing the first episode of this show, and one of the edits across the bottom ticker was, "How bad do the Wild suck?"
I think it was actually "Are the Wild good?"
Whatever. It was what it was, and
And the resolute
they
answer was
talked
no.
about how sucky they were going to be. Yeah, they're not a playoff team, Ben.
Here comes the implosion. I mean, this start has been great, but here comes the collapse. Here it
Well,
comes.
I
It's
mean,
going down.
I don't want to give up on Seattle just yet, but we're looking at our third consecutive loss, and I'm pissed.
I mean,
Pissed.
your team at least has hope.
I
I
mean,
have some hope for your team. I have none for mine
yeah.
because the Wild do the same thing every year. So, and your team's not old enough to have done the same thing every year yet.
Ooh, the Clippers beat the Nuggets today. The Nuggets are struggling.
Yeah, that's going to be a story to watch, I think. The Nuggets,
Heat over the
they
Hornets. Celtics 3-0. Are they going to lose?
uh, they might go 82 and 0.
Are
They
they
actually might. That'd be
Caps over
insane.
the Wizards? Thunder over the Bulls. No surprise there. The Grizzlies take down the Magic. Timberwolves beat the Raptors.
And by the way, as so often happens in some of these games, I don't know if you watched any of that Wolves game. It was 112-101 by the end, but the Wolves absolutely just outplayed them.
I did not watch any of it, but the Spurs beat Houston. That was good. I'm looking here,
Where
and it looks to me like Randall and Edwards combination is pretty legit. And then you
yeah.
got dude, I don't know why you hate Rudy Gobert. Tell me why.
Uh, well,
No, tell me why.
his contract, he's not worth that contract.
Again, you with the dollars and cents. They're two and
He's not
one. The kid, what do you care about dollars and cents? The guy's a multiple time defender of the year. You don't need him to score a ton of points, though he had 15 and 12. He had a double double. Why do you hate Rudy Gobert? Other than
I
his
also just don't think that style of center works in the NBA anymore. I just don't think it works. A center who can't shoot threes, it just doesn't work anymore.
what? What? You okay? I
Who's the
don't
best center in the league
you're
right
all
now?
over the map, my friend, because yesterday you were dogging on Sabonis, who is a center who shoots threes and always has.
He's a power forward who shoots threes.
He's
I
a
don't think
center.
I don't think Sabonis is a top three anything, but
He doesn't need to be top three. Look at his team. He's stacked. They're stacked.
yeah, but the Wolves kind of need Gobert to be a top five center in the league, and he's not.
Why? They got Randall and Edwards.
I don't
Conley,
think Randall's I don't think Randall's that
again,
good.
you who?
I don't think Julius Randall's that good. I mean, he's an all-star, but what's that worth anymore?
What are you talking about?
Uh,
Who even are
all,
you?
all NBA matters more, and he doesn't have any of those. If he does, it's a third team, and it was 1 year, and it was that first year in New York where he looked like a stud, which he's just not that guy.
He had 24 tonight.
Now
24.
that being said, I already like Randall more than I liked Towns. I couldn't stand Towns. All he did was whine and complain. All he did was complain, dude. Did you not watch the playoffs last year where he was
Well,
yelling at the
that's a whole nother story, and that's becoming an epidemic in the NBA as it is. Like,
Towns might
who
be
has
the center
ever
of it.
seen? Tell me if you've ever seen this. A player go hard to the rim, go up for a shot, make or miss, get fouled to hell and have it not get called, whine to the official, and then the official go, "Oh, you know what? That was a foul. I'm going to call it now." 30 seconds after the play is over. I've watched the NBA since I was yay high. Never have I seen that occur.
Yeah. I don't know why
So
they think that's going to work.
if I'm a coach of a team and I say, and dude, keep in mind, I am a huge Damian Lillard fan, but he is one of the worst. Him and LeBron are two of the worst.
And
LeBron's way
Harden.
worse though.
Don't forget about Harden.
Okay, yeah, Harden's way there, but LeBron is the worst. All right, foul every time they like. What are you doing, dude? Has it ever worked for you? No, it hasn't. In fact, I bet you they've gotten more technical fouls from arguing non-called fouls than they have reversal of the call. I hate it. I
Do
hate it.
refs miss calls? Yes, absolutely. Not arguing that. But why do you think getting in the ref's face and yelling at him is going to do anything?
Oh, it's not even getting in their face. It's just like, and I'm going to tell you this that I what I noticed, and this is perhaps can be corrected, but this is the youth of the Portland Trailblazers. That first game against Golden State, they would complain about fouls to the ref after the fact while Golden State was running the other side of the court and scoring. And
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I'm like, what are you doing? There's a basketball game being played. You're whining about a foul that didn't happen and the other team's running up a 50-point differential on you. Shut your fucking mouth. Sorry.
okay, I do want
So
to
that
talk about it doesn't matter. So
not
the
on a
first two
normal show, we don't do that. This is after hours.
that might be a good name for this. Anyway, whatever this segment is. Anyway, let's talk about the first two games of the World Series. The first one ended about as good as it could
Why
have, and the
don't
second,
talk about the ending first? That's not don't
well,
do
the
that.
first 9 innings were a snore.
That's not true. That's not true, dude. You have look, a pitcher's duel can be every bit as exciting as a 20 to 21 game. You just have to love baseball. And quite frankly, I question whether you do.
I love Jack Flaherty. I hate Garrett Cole. I
I,
cannot stand Garrett Cole's existence. That's
I don't
the only
care.
reason I hated Gabe one.
I don't care.
I also
Baseball
hate
is a
watching this
beautiful
Yankees team.
sport. Every dude, every single play, every pitch has a purpose. Person could be out of position for 1 second, or they could be in perfect position for 5 seconds, and a ball goes perfectly. It's all designed, no clock. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. First 5 innings of this game were beautiful. Then you get to the point where you need to start scoring. You got to start thinking about, okay, what pitchers are we going to have to use for this situation? In the sixth inning, it was 2-1. All right. In the eighth inning, it gets tied and it's 2-2. No change in the ninth inning. So all right, we're going to extra innings. And what happens in the extra innings? The Yankees come out there and what do they do? What do they do in the ninth inning, Ben? Or the
In the
10th
10th,
inning, I'm sorry.
they go ahead and then
Volpe grounded into a fielder's choice, and Rizzo was out at second.
that
And Chisholm scored after getting on base, stealing second, stealing third. This is
how
electricity on a baseball diamond, bro. He
how awesome is
manufactured
Jazz
that
Chisholm, by
run
the
for
way?
the Yankees to put them in a position to win game one on the road in front of vicious, vicious LA Dodger fans. The Yankees. The Yankees are up 3-2 in the 10th inning. All they have to do is bring in their starter, Nestor Cortez.
Who immediately
Holy shit. Was that a bad idea?
who immediately proceeds to fucking implode.
Man, this was incredible baseball, my friend. What are you talking about? World Series game one ends on a walk-off grand slam that's never happened in the history of the sport in over
You're way too excited
105
about
years
this.
of history. Come on.
You're way too excited about this. I
Oh,
love baseball, but you're way too excited about this.
guess what? You walk bets.
Which made sense at the time.
It made sense at the time because guess what? Freddie Freeman hadn't hit an extra base hit in a month prior to the triple that he hit earlier in the game.
Or more.
They're like, oh, we got this chump. And then
This
he
old
takes
guy
the
who can't
first
really play
pitch.
anymore.
The first dude, could you hit that ball any harder?
It was Kirk Gibson all over again.
First pitch. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the last time the Mariners were in the playoffs and they brought in Robbie Ray in the 18th inning.
How'd that go for you?
Oh, there's a photograph side by side showing Robbie Ray and Nestor Cortez, both with this stupid, stunned look on their face as the batter watches the ball fly over the fence
Meanwhile,
and their season.
I don't remember what the pitch that Ray threw that knocked the Mariners
It's
out.
the exact same pitch.
What a
Exactly the same pitch.
fastball right down the middle, pretty much.
Yes.
I mean, if Cortez could have thrown this anymore, like right where Freeman was going to smack it, I don't know how. It was the worst pitch to throw at the worst time.
So, okay. Let me settle down now because one game does not maketh an amazing World Series. I give you that, Ben. But quite frankly, your blasé attitude after the game last night pissed me off, bro. You're like, the last at bat was good. And I was just like, let me punch you in your throat. I get that you don't like these two teams. And I get now, after today's game, which you say was boring, but I say, look,
Actually, the first 3.5 innings, I'll give him credit. The first 3.5 innings were pretty good. 4 innings, really. But after that, like once this game was 4-1, you knew it was over.
I didn't know it was over.
Once Edmund hit the home run to put them up 2-1, frankly, I thought it was over at that point.
Here's what I'll
And then
tell you.
and then Hernandez hits that one later in the game, and then I'm
Freddie
like, okay, this game's
Freeman
over.
hits another home run,
Yeah,
making his bid for MVP of the World Series. And
which I
quite
think he's already got. I
frankly, if they win, it's going to be hard to give it to anybody else. But there's a lot of baseball left, so we don't really know. Even if,
80 per. I want to give you a statistic actually, because we do kind of know. So 80% of the time, when a team wins the first two games of the World Series, they win. That is an overwhelming majority.
okay,
80% of the time.
that's fine, but that doesn't determine the amount of games they win it in,
No, true.
which is what I care about. We're already on record as I don't care who wins. I don't.
Oh, I definitely do. I want to see the Yankees suffer for all eternity.
I picked the Yankees because you picked the Dodgers. I let you do that. I let you take the Dodgers.
Because it's the smart pick.
Well, if you follow the money, which you certainly
Also, the
won't
predictability, which
shut
this
up
whole season's
about.
been predictable. 'Cause this whole season's been predictable.
'Cause, 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 'cause,
The season has been nothing if not predictable, so the Dodgers winning just makes sense.
You would never have predicted that the uh the Royals or the Tigers
The only thing I saw, didn't
would have
see
made the
happening,
playoffs.
I actually thought the Royals had a chance. I did not think the Tigers had a chance.
Right. The Tigers and who's the other team from the NL? The Mets. Both those teams were dead, dead,
I mean, the
dead.
Mets had the talent, though. The Mets had the talent on paper to make the playoffs.
Doesn't matter.
Mets
They
should have been
were
a playoff team
farther
last
out.
year.
They were farther out than the Tigers were. But I digress. Okay. Teoscar Hernandez hits a great home run. Yamamoto was amazing. He was I mean, lights out, really. You got
So
three
glad the
guys in the
Yankees
third.
failed to sign him. Yes, Yankees fans, the Yankees failed to sign the guy that kicked your ass tonight. Relish in it. I hope you suffer. All right, continue.
So I was hoping for 1-1 going back to New York.
That was never going to happen.
But here's the deal, Ben. The Yankees got 3 games at home now. All they got to do is win 2 of them. All right.
I
And
think they win one.
quite honestly, I think the Dodgers would be okay with that. Because they don't want to win this in New York. They want to win this in front of their home crowd in
Frankly, I
game
don't think Dave Roberts cares where he wins it as long as he gets the choke artist label off him.
in game 6.
Because do you count that 2020 World Series? Because nobody else does.
It was a COVID year. Is that the only reason it doesn't count?
It was only 60 games. It was weird year. People's argument is it was only 60 games, and I kind of agree with it.
All right. That's
And a
fair.
lot of the same guys that were on that Dodger team in 20 are on this Dodger team now. The core is all still there. Sure, some pieces have moved. Like they didn't have Hernandez, but like they've gotten some guys since then. But I mean, it's a lot of the same guys. Kershaw's still there. You know, Bueller's still
All right.
there.
So let's get back to this game. You're 3-1 in the third. All right. And all the way up through the ninth, it stays 3-1.
It's 4-1.
4-1. Sorry. 4-1 in the third. And you're kind of like 3 runs is a lot. But we're thinking that as Mariner fans and Twins fans.
Well, it's freaking
That's
Yamamoto, dude.
forever. That's forever. Yeah, but he can't pitch a complete game. There's no way.
Well, he was not overly efficient tonight. I will say that in terms of his pitch count. He
So
was
here's
not
the
overly
deal.
efficient.
You get to the ninth inning, the Yankees get a run
Finally.
um, on a Stanton single. Soto scores in the ninth. Then they load the bases. And you're like, dude, base hit. They load the bases with 1 out. Base hit, we're tied. And we're looking at extra innings all over again. But
My personal worst nightmare, the Yankees taking the lead.
why?
Because I hate the Yankees.
You just want baseball to be done? Is that
No, I just want the
why do you
Yankees
hate
to.
the Yankees so much?
How many times? You should hate the Yankees too.
I did when I was your age, but I was dumb.
The Yankees are criminals, all of them.
Criminals.
They have robbed us of the great sport of baseball being actually competitive, and they've done it again.
Listen,
This will be the World Series for the next 4 years, I'm telling you.
here's the thing. Yes, it is the table is set for that to happen. However, you can't tell me that there's no place in this sport for small market teams. On any given day, one team can go and beat another more than any other sport.
Okay, can I ask you who in the NL next year, presuming Atlanta, other than Atlanta, because I think they're the one team that could knock the Dodgers out if they're healthy. They basically had a morgue worth of an injured list by the end of the season. Who other than Atlanta could compete?
Padres,
Maybe
Phillies.
if they don't do what they did this year, yeah.
I mean,
The Mets, do you want to say the Mets can
no, I
compete?
don't want to say the Mets because I don't believe that, but you're already talking about the top team, and every sport has a top team, right? And
I'm
then
saying
you
who
look
can
at
knock the
other
Dodgers
teams who
out?
beat those teams. There's at least three that we mentioned. That's enough. But I'll tell you what, if there's if they linger or on the cusp and they end up not getting the first place or whatever, the odds of them getting beaten increase
Uh,
dramatically.
do we think, okay, there was some other teams thrown around as like, oh, this team could be. I was watching MLB Network late at night one night, and they were having this discussion of who are teams to watch in 2025. One team that was thrown out there was the Pirates because they have Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
Maybe don't buy your Pirates stock right now, maybe wait a year, but uh, who
Paul
knows?
Skeens was amazing this year. I
Well,
just wonder
great.
if hitters can figure him out, that he may not be as great next year. We don't know.
I wonder if they didn't overuse him too. I wonder if that was.
Well,
But they really didn't have a choice. I mean, if you look at that Pirates roster, it's not like they had much of a decision to make there.
no, and I think the Reds are up and comers. Um, they're exciting to watch. I never thought
Yeah.
I'd say that about the Reds ever again, but yeah,
I mean, but who on that Reds roster can you compare to? Let's even throw Walker Bueller out there, even though I don't. There's a good chance Walker Bueller's not a Dodger next year, by the way. He is a free agent to be, unless he signed a new contract today, which I don't think he did.
no, he did not.
They made him an offer fairly recently, and he turned it down. So who knows where Walker Bueller is going to be next year? If they win, it'll probably be right back where he is. If they win, he's probably staying there.
Here, let me give you a little bit of why I don't hate the Yankees. All right.
Can we finish the recap for this game, and then you can tell me why I
I
don't hate
we,
the
we're
Yankees?
done. They lost. They struck out
Volpe strikes out,
Volpe,
and then who was it that pinch hit? I forget his name. I'm looking it
um,
up.
Trevino.
Was it Trevino? Thank you.
And he flew out, didn't he?
Yeah, it was about the. It was a hard hit fly out, but it was a fly. Like he hit it pretty hard, but it was never in doubt that they were going to catch it. All right, why don't you hate the Yankees now, even though they're disgusting and gross?
All right. Think about history, Ben. Some of the greatest players to ever play this game have worn that uniform.
Correct.
Now the stadium is gone. Some of the relics from that stadium are still there at New Yankee Stadium. And I don't know. As I got older, I started watching films like 61, Pride of the Yankees, just really anything, any baseball film, even for Love of the Game, where the Yankees are the bad guys and the Detroit Tigers are the good guys. You watch something like this and you find out you stop worrying about the stupid things and you find the romance in baseball. And I think about people like Roger Maris, who's not in the Hall of Fame. I think about Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Yogi Berra, all these great players that just crafted the game of baseball, wore that uniform. And to a degree, I love it that Ken Griffey Jr. said, I would die before I play for the Yankees. Never going to happen. He hates them as much as you do, buddy. And they
as
could
he
have paid
should.
him. They could have paid him more than anybody.
And unless you grew up in the Bronx, you should hate the Yankees, by the way.
Well, I kind of agree with that, but I also feel like if you live like in Iowa or Nebraska or the Dakotas where you just don't have a team and you get to choose, why wouldn't you
Can I tell you something?
choose the Yankees?
Can I tell you something? I live in a town where a lot of the people that live here are from here. Okay. I'm not from here, but a lot of people that live around me are. They're all Twins fans. Everybody in this town is a Twins fan. Everybody, except for one person I met in North Dakota, was a Twins fan. The Dakotas really adopt the Minnesota teams. I don't know what's going on in Iowa. I don't live in Iowa. I've been to Iowa one time. I cannot speak for Iowa, but I've lived in both the Dakotas, and I can tell you it's fairly Minnesota centric with some Colorado in there too.
Let me ask you this, because I know that the internet's been around your whole life.
Yeah.
Not mine. I didn't have it until I was out of high school. So you pretty much watched what was on TV. For me, it was the Mariners, and they were also local to me. So I think that does have an impact on your fandom. But if you just discover the sport or you're watching an all-star game or the playoffs for the first time and you live in a place where there's no team, you literally can choose whoever you want.
A
And I,
lot of a lot of kids now are picking players they like rather than teams.
right.
That's
And then
happening
you
across all
follow that
sports, but
player.
wherever that player goes is where they're gonna. So like if someone started watching baseball, if it was a kid that started watching baseball, let's say they fell in love with, I don't know, Mike Trout, they're gonna be an Angels fan because that's where Mike Trout is. That Mike Trout's not going anywhere, at least not yet. And Mike Trout. Juan Soto, much the same. Now, if you're a Juan Soto fan, you've rooted for three different teams in the last 5 years.
And you'll be potentially rooting for a fourth next year.
And I don't think he stays in New York because every report that's come out is he's not real big on staying in New York at all.
They can't afford him. I mean, they could, but is that what you want to do?
Steinbrenner Sr. Sure would have found the money somewhere. Telling you that much.
I don't know. I think he's 500 million guy, and I think if I was the Seattle Mariners, I'd find a way to give him six.
I think it is not impossible he gets pretty close to Otani money. I don't think that's impossible
I don't either. Um,
because I think for as much as Otani is a two-way guy, I think there's a chance he's not a two-way guy anymore. I think there's a chance he just hits. But
well, that's to be determined, but
and he did get hurt tonight. We should mention that. That's kind of the big thing coming out of game two, other
yeah,
than the
we
Dodgers.
should mention that. He was sliding in the second base, gets
It
up.
looked it looked like a flexor strain to me. That's what it looked like.
Translators said what he said is his arm was dislocated.
Oh, it's a dislocated shoulder. Well,
That's what I would look for. We'll obviously
if
know by the time this episode comes out. But
if it's a dislocated shoulder, that's it. He's done probably. Um, well, certainly he's done for this series. He's not done period, but he's done for this series, and that I think puts a cog in the Dodgers' wheel because for as good as the Dodgers are, who do they have on their bench right now that can fill the Otani spot?
they're good enough without him.
I mean, they couldn't get here last year without him. They got here one other
Hurricane lead
time
the
in recent history.
Kraken. The Hurricane lead the Kraken 2-1 with 4 minutes to go.
Can the Kraken come back? I don't know. Let's shift to the NFL for a little bit before we wrap up here. By the time this comes out, all the games will have happened. But Dames, I need your last second thoughts on Seahawks Bills tomorrow before it happens.
Boy, I think it's the only Fox game at 3 o'clock.
It is.
Um,
Wait.
DK Metcalf's out. I don't know how
Like
you
for
feel
sure
about
now. I know he was doubtful yesterday. Is that a for sure out now?
I I mean it'll be a game time decision, but doubtful usually means they're not gonna play. Unless he wakes up tomorrow and he's magically healed. Um, and I mean beyond healed, because there would still be an air of precaution. Here, this is what frustrates me. If you're on the verge of being able to play and you're playing a really hard team, there's two schools of thought. You either gut it out or you go, oh, we're probably going to lose this game anyway. Let's not risk you getting further injured. And I feel like we're taking the second route.
If
We're
you were
probably
playing
going to lose this
Carolina
game
and he
anyway.
was doubtful, I think you would want him to sit.
Well, there's that school too. That doesn't come into play here.
No, it's Buffalo,
You
which,
either
you know,
say, this is a tough game. We could really use you. If we have you, we know that there's a good chance of a win. And then there's, oh, we're probably going to lose anyway. Let's just rest you so that you can live on. And I don't like that. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't know for sure if that's the case.
well,
That's just how I feel about it.
in defense of that potential school of thought, your schedule does not get much easier from here.
No.
You have a healthy Rams team coming to town next week. Then you have the bye, which will let you get healthy if nothing else. The Niners in San Francisco, that's always a tough game for both teams. I mean, you always play the Niners close. It doesn't matter how quote unquote loaded they are. You're going to play the Niners close no matter what. The Cardinals, I think you should win that game. It's at home. At the Jets, you're going to win that game because the Jets suck.
I'm not banking on it, but carry on.
At, at the Cardinals, I mean, I'm 50-50 for you on that game.
Me too. We should win those games, but again, should doesn't put a W in the column.
Home for the Packers in December. Who knows what the Packers are going to be by December? Like, they've looked like the best team in the league and the worst all in the same game before.
The only thing I can tell you about that game is that week that Gobo and I are going to argue the fail Mary. We're going to have a debate on the fail Mary that week.
And then the next week, Minnesota comes to town. Is this Vikings team going to be in full free fall by then? Who knows? Probably not because they got a bunch of winnable games coming. Then the day after Christmas, you play the Bears in Chicago in prime time. That game could get flexed if both teams are out, but I don't think both teams will be out at all.
Dude, I think Seattle has one of the hardest schedules remaining. And I love it. I don't think we're a playoff team, but I don't know. I mean, if we win a handful of these games, we're already at the top of the division. So I don't know.
Okay, if you beat the Cardinals twice and the Niners continue to be plagued by injury, that's it right there. If you can beat the Niners, what? You play the Niners one more time?
Yep,
Is that right? They beat you in Seattle,
yep.
but they're more banged up now than they were the last time you played them, which is almost impressive if you think about it. But that game's 3 weeks away, so who knows? Maybe McCaffrey's back by then. Doubt
Well,
it.
and to be fair, Ben, I was also our third game in 11 days during that stretch, which is a lot to ask. I don't know. Yeah, I picked Seattle, but that's before I knew that Metcalf was out, so I have no confidence in that at this point.
I mean, if I told you you've got how many games left? Three, six. You got 10 games left. If you win six of those, you're a playoff team.
Now we'll see.
I mean, your advantage is you have a very late bye week. That is your advantage at this point is that you have a late bye week that lets you get healthy. Your defense is banged up and not very good anyway, which is something you told me before the year that you were not all that confident in the Seahawks defense.
No, not.
And you weren't when they were fully healthy and now they're banged up. So,
Here's what I feel like, Ben. I feel like the best players on our team, and it's quite even, is DK Metcalf and Geno Smith. And one
yeah,
of those guys is gone. And when you're looking at Geno Smith being the best player on your team, you're not happy. You're
I
not happy.
mean, could could Kenneth Walker have a big game here? You can run on the Bills defense.
We'll see.
I mean, that's a national TV game, really, because it's the only Fox game on at 3 o'clock.
Well, and I look at this like we got Tyler Lockett, we got Jackson Smith and Jigba, but they're little guys.
And Lockett is getting older.
They're not, yeah, I mean, he's still great, but he's great because you don't have to focus on him because you're doubling Metcalf. He's not in the game.
He's
Jake
not out there.
Bobo will be his replacement. Doesn't make me feel good. Anyway, no one cares about the Seahawks.
We do.
I do.
I do. Some other games to watch for tomorrow. Uh, in the Shitter Bowl, we have the Jets and the Patriots.
They're a miserable piece of shit.
Me?
Yeah, but also the game.
Why am I a miserable piece of shit? The game is a miserable piece of shit.
It's funny.
Oh, by the way, a lot of noon kickoffs tomorrow. Like a lot, an obnoxious amount of noon kickoffs.
Yeah, it's all good though.
Cardinals Dolphins with Tua coming back.
Tua, what are you doing?
Tua's going to play in this game. Like that is e-
Oh, you know what we forgot to mention?
what?
Tapuria.
How'd the UFC go earlier? I heard it
Tapuria
wasn't great.
won. He defended us. He's 16-0. He won in a minute and 34 seconds into the third round with a knock. Dude, I've never seen this before. It was a double uh backhand. Like he did a backhand with his right, and then he did a reverse backhand with the left, knocked him out cold. Wow.
Insane.
Not only did Seattle not score to tie it at two, they gave up two more goals and lost 4-1. I hate my life.
Join the party. Um, well, James, what's the game other than the Seahawks you're most excited to watch tomorrow? Because it's not the Sunday night game.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Ben, because I like you.
That's debatable at times.
I don't like you. You're a
Wow,
punk.
thanks. Thanks.
Punk.
Wow.
Week 8. All right, what do I like? I like I think Green Bay at Jacksonville is intriguing to me because I think Green Bay doesn't know that Jacksonville can play football. I think they have complete disrespect based on Gobo's comments. And I think it'll be close. I like the Eagles Bengals game. I think that's an interesting matchup. Two
If the
teams
Eagles
that
lose, could Sirianni be fired? Because we already know he's getting fired at some point.
I don't think you get fired for losing to the Bengals. Um, and I don't know that they want to deal with it mid-season. It really
But we do
depends.
agree he's gone at the end of the year, right? Like, there's no way
If they
he's
win
coming
the
back.
Super Bowl, he's certainly not.
But they're not gonna do that.
No, I don't think so. But um, I like the Atlanta Tampa game. I don't like it as much with the receivers missing from Tampa. So leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I love the Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels matchup.
I hope I get that game. I
325, baby, CBS.
I hope that's my local. I could check. I'm not
You'll
doing it right now.
probably get you will probably get the Chiefs and Raiders,
I have no desire to watch that. I'm going to be honest with you.
but it depends on what they consider better for your local market, the Bears or the Chiefs. And
Come on,
unfortunately,
Chicago.
the
Come on,
Chiefs have
Chicago.
won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. So that's probably what you're going to get. But I also find a little bit of intrigue in the Sunday night game. Yes, both teams
The
are underperforming. Cowboys at San Francisco. And then, of course, Monday night's going to be awesome, dude. I'm all about the Russell Wilson show.
I I think this is the worst week of primetime football I've seen in a long time. Two shattered teams by injury.
You're a
I
punk.
think I think the Thursday night game will be the best of the primetime games this week. And I hate Thursday night football. But I thought that Rams Vikings game was actually pretty
Well,
entertaining.
how is it? You're 25.
Yeah.
How is it that you have the bitterness of a 75-year-old man who's never seen his team win anything?
Well, I have never seen my teams win anything to to justify some of that.
But you're still 50 years away from being as bitter as you are. Like, okay, I get what I'm really trying to say is why do you do a sports show when you hate sports?
I don't hate sports. It's just I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like. For example, I love baseball when it's actually baseball and not the joke that this World Series is. And there are people who agree with me that this World Series is a joke.
Of course, there's people that agree with you. Just they're wrong too.
Nobody likes Thursday night football. You, chief amongst them.
I like them. I like it.
Okay, you might be the first person I've met.
Look,
Okay,
I don't like it when my team has to do it, but I'm still excited to watch it because I like to watch my team. I understand the toll it takes on them to do it, but I don't want to wait until I like having NFL football in 3 days a week. I like it. It's
I
exciting.
won't be I won't be surprised if in the next CBA they try to change that to Friday night. I don't think they could because of college, but because then it's essentially just 5 days instead of 4 or 3 or whatever. I don't know. What do you? Okay, so who is your Super Bowl pick right now in the NFC? Because it's wide open. We know the AFC is probably going to be the Chiefs. I don't think that's in much question right now. They're going to figure this thing out easily.
Mhm. I don't agree with you.
They're going to have home field the whole way, and that gives it to them pretty much because it is impossible to win a playoff game there.
I told you I don't care what the field is right now. I believe the Baltimore Ravens. would beat the Chiefs uh, badly.
Wow. I you're
Look at the quarterback play, Ben.
Yeah, Mahomes leads the league in interceptions. That's the one thing you could look at and
He
say,
is
okay,
he's mid. He's like the 23rd ranked quarterback right now.
yes, but we all know
And
the
look,
playoffs are different.
we know Patrick Mahomes is great. I'm not questioning that. But we have a big enough sample now at 7 games in to see that he's not, there's something wrong there.
Is he hurt? Is the question I have.
I don't know. What
They
I
better hope he's not. I mean,
what I do know is Lamar Jackson is playing at an MVP level. Uh, Patrick Mahomes is playing at a JV level.
so the MVP kind of candidates right now are Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and oddly, I would throw Jared Goff in there. Oddly enough, because he's just been incredible.
You got Sam Darnold also. You got Baker
I think that's
Mayfield.
fallen apart.
You got Baker Mayfield and Jaden Daniels. Those are the potential. We're halfway through. Those are all people that are viable candidates at this point.
Well, I think Darnold's the long shot of the guys you just named
It's fine.
because I don't know that he can hold it together for another 9, 10 weeks, whatever it's going to take
Yeah, I don't have
straight.
a problem with that take.
I I think the last two games did a lot, took a large toll. The uncalled face mask, which we could talk about for the next 6 years probably,
Makes me sick, dude.
and for that to happen on a primetime game, by the way. The NFL tries to defend its referees. That happened on a primetime game on a Thursday night with two very large media markets because Minnesota's media market goes beyond the state of Minnesota. It stretches into the Dakotas, into Montana. It stretches way out there in terms of the media market of who was watching that game. Two of the larger media markets, and you blow a call like that. How do you defend your refereeing at that point? You can't.
No, nope.
And their argument would be, well, maybe the Vikings wouldn't have gone down and tied it anyway. Yeah, sure, you can argue that, but who knows what could have happened?
I don't know. Anyway, I think that's
I think we covered everything. James can go to bed.
no, I can't. I gotta edit this and get it ready.
You can edit this tomorrow. It's not going up till Monday.
No, I'm out of town, remember?
Oh, shit, that's right.
So we're not having a show
Well,
Monday.
have fun wherever you're going. And,
Visit my aunt.
well, that could be fun, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast.
Well, folks, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to check this out over on TikTok. Is this going on TikTok at the same time as it is on the YouTube?
This won't go on TikTok.
Well, Two Marks is probably going up either the same day as this or the next day, so be sure to check that out. Um, and we will see you Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow as you watch this. And like, comment, subscribe. Bye bye now.